Now that we know that Rob Reiner was at Conan's party the night before this tragic event happened, it breaks my heart a little bit more to think that there was a room full of such happy, boisterous, and loving people, and this is what happened within 12 hours of that event is heartbreaking. It goes right up there with the loss of Phil Hartman, because this is another one of those situations where such a tragic, horrific event happened at the hands of someone that they loved. This one is gut-wrenching because it was their own child. From everything that I can see and find, Rob absolutely adored his father. I've watched some clips from some interviews. It's heartbreaking to think that the way Rob spoke in some of those interviews, it sounds like, one, he felt responsible for the struggle in the relationship with his son, and two, he very much seemed to think that he could have some sort of impact on the improvement of their relationship. What stands out to me is that potentially Rob held on for as long as he did, was so hopeful because of how much he adored his father. And in my mind, it makes me think that he thought that that could be on the other side, persevering through whatever struggles his son was going through. So if he held on long enough, did all of the right things in just the right way for as long as he could, that maybe on the other side of it, he could have the relationship like he had with his own father. That puts knots in my stomach in so many ways. And it's part of the reason why I've made the content that I have. It's part of the reason why I've spoken about the things that I do in the way that I do. Because with the Blake Lively case, the reason why I talk about patterns of behavior, recognizing signs of potential personality disorder, because I want to diagnose anybody, isn't because I want to say this person has a personality disorder, but rather when we are a person who cannot conceivably believe that there are people that are like this, we end up putting ourselves in harm's way. We give the other person such the benefit of the doubt, and we hope so much for the best in the other person to finally surface. We bend over backwards. We put ourselves in situations that we would not choose to put ourselves in. And we forget that by putting ourselves out for somebody that we love, that we're actually putting ourselves in harm's way. It is very sad to think that this tragic incident may have been escalated because of the fact that the rumor is that Rob and his wife were potentially going to ask their son to move out of the home that was on their property. He had been living there for the last 5 years. So there's something especially painful to think that they were finally making a move to protect their peace, to restore their safety, and finally making the decision to understand that they were not in a safe situation with their son in their presence. Instead of getting the safety and the peace that they wanted, it ended in this tragedy. So again, when I talk about the potential for disorders, that people process information differently, that their behavior doesn't change, the reason why I'm talking about it is because there are those of us who believe that if we just do enough, if we just say the right thing in just the right way, if we hang on long enough, and if this other person finally learns and finally gets it, finally hears just the right thing, they're not going to hurt me anymore. And sometimes that's the lie that we tell ourselves in order to stay in the presence of somebody who doesn't care about our safety, who has shown us that they are making unsafe choices, treating us with utter disregard for our own safety and our own respect. So I hope that people are reaching out and checking in on Conan, even Andy. I think it's really kismet that Andy made a connection with such amazing people like Emma and Ellen this year, because could you imagine being in a tragedy like this and you have a duo like Emma and Ellen who are so full of love and laughter, and they are the people that could potentially reach out at a time like this. I think that there is something that was definitely like that was meant to be. So again, I talk about the things that I do not because I want to diagnose anybody, but because I would hope that people start to get the message that sometimes there's nothing that we can do to get through to people that show us signs, show us patterns of behavior, that they aren't growing, that they aren't changing, that no matter how much information they have, no matter how much we advocate or educate, they're going to make the choices that they do that put us in harm's way, disrespect us, and put us in potential danger. We need to start trusting our own intuition, making our own decisions on our own behalf, instead of giving other people the benefit of the doubt.